All right, welcome back to the custom lever top fucking channel. All right. Today's experiment is all thanks to one guy who has commented on, I think, 4 of my videos, or 3, I don't remember, saying, why don't I make it out of wood? Because I don't know how to make stuff out of wood. That's the answer. Also, as I'll show a little bit later on, the machines that I have, the lathes that I have, aren't necessarily compatible with wood. The coolant systems that are required for machining basically any kind of metal are very susceptible to getting essentially their lines clogged. So even when I machine plastic, like, Delrin, Teflon, acetal, whatever, if that stuff manages to worm its way into the coolant tanks and that stuff gets sucked into the lines from the pump, odds are that eventually enough of it will get stuck in there after a long series of production. It'll actually clog the whole coolant line. And then I would have to, dismantle the whole coolant lines, clean out everything, blow it out. So super messy, super annoying process that I hate doing. And I've been pretty good about it so far, and I haven't had an issue like that in about 3 years. But the difference with wood is that wood absorbs, especially untreated wood, absorbs water. So the chips, when I would, for example, machine it, would probably absorb some of the coolant and expand. Now that could cause me a problem. Maybe that's a little bit different than if plastic got stuck in the tubes, but hey, I'm not going to be running coolant anyway. So my plan is to essentially lay out a bunch of cloth in the machine that catches all of the wood chips so that it won't get into the coolant system. Simple as that. So to start, I went to Home Depot 30 minutes before they closed and bought this. Look at that. This is 1 1/4 diameter, 3 feet long, oak rod. Okay. I don't know how to machine this, dude. I Googled a bunch of stuff. None of it makes sense to me. It's just a bunch of numbers. I'm supposed to run this bitch at like 6,000 rotations. Can't do that. Machine will blow up. So it's gonna be an experiment. So my plan is to get the rotations up as much as possible, almost as if I was working on plastic. I need the chips. I need to go essentially so fast I don't give it an opportunity to burn. If it does start burning, well, I have numerous fire extinguishers around the facility. So, who knows? Might come in handy. But on top of that, if I do succeed and I get at least one piece, I have also purchased water-based wood stain. I'm gonna coat it and I'm gonna put it on my display case because I did not think all of this through, and I did not get one key component that would actually, allow me to finish this if I managed to machine it. Now let me explain. So in wood, or I should say in all the metallic pieces that I made prior, and with plastic as well, it is possible to cut a thread in that material so that you don't have to have some outside piece shoved into it to allow it to essentially screw it. In the aluminum knobs and the stainless steel knobs, I made some plastic knobs that I just didn't like, so I never made a video on them. I was able to directly cut into that material and make the groove or make the thread one whole piece along with the lever top. But for wood, I can't do that. So I forgot to purchase a little something that looks like this. Now I know this is all gonna be reversed for you guys, but this is essentially this kind of insert that has a thread on the outside specifically made for wood. It's like as if you were screwing something in, the screws that have like the cutting, tap basically. And I would take this and screw this into the wood top, and this inside would be an M6X1 thread, which would allow me to actually screw it on. Now, I've never used one of these before. So when I order it on Amazon tonight at like 2 o'clock in the morning, because it is currently 9:59 p.m. on a Friday, I'm gonna just be testing it out. I saw the dimensions, the outside thread, fuck if I know what it is. It's probably some Chinese shit. It's 0.413 in diameter, so I figure I'll just make the whole 3/8, 0.375. The full length is 0.8. I'll just make the whole an inch deep, I guess. And the top is actually like a little cap top, a little bit wider. So I'm gonna add the OG kind of counterbore that the plastic tops have, and some of my aluminum tops had as well, that I later ended up taking out just because I wanted a taller top, just because of how I play. Now for reference, this is the original dimensions I took when I was making the stainless steel top, when I measured the plastic one that I took off of my K-lever. And you can see right there, that was the counterbore before the M6X1 thread came in. Now for this one, I'm not doing any creative design. I'm not taking any like stylistic liberties. I'm just basically making that exact copy, except obviously no thread here, just a 3/8 hole, about an inch and a quarter, I'd say, deep. And then hopefully within the weekend, I'll get the brass bearings, or the brass inserts, and bronze inserts, I want to say. And I'll be able to screw them in and I'll test them out. But obviously, I'm not going to make a video of that because I'm just going to try to finish this up today and show you guys just what it looks like, especially to that one guy that keeps on commenting, try making it out of wood. This is for you, okay? If I see you comment one more time, make it out of wood after this video, I'm deleting the channel. Just kidding. I think it's creative. I think it's cool. I think it's a good idea. I looked everywhere. It doesn't really seem to be something that people sell or make or any companies do. I'm not necessarily sure what reason. I would assume probably rotting reasons. I would assume because wood has a tendency of being pretty gentle. It shows scarring a lot more than something like a plastic would. It's a little bit less durable. You know, you could fucking set it on fire. So, you know, there's probably a good reason for it, but I figure, hey, why not? I'll make that one guy's day, which I'll remind myself of his name, and I will turn this piece of oak rod into a Korean lever style bat top. So, onto the machine. I'll show you guys the setup really quick. It's probably gonna be really loud out there because, you know, the compressor's humming, the machine's humming, it's old. The machine's like 24 years old. It's like as old as me. So, apologies for the noise if there is any. Maybe lower your volume. But let's get started. All right, so here's the basic setup on the trusty old SL10. We have the piece already in the spindle, pretty much ready to go. I decided to not lay out any cloth because I think I'm just gonna take the vacuum we have here and I'm just gonna, you know, clean out the whole machine once I'm done manually. You know, don't wanna get anything snagged, don't wanna fucking die while I'm doing this, you know. Cloth spins around, takes my arm with me, you know. Anyway, here's the facing tool. I put in a brand new diamond tipped insert made for basically plastic. I figure should be, you know, good enough for wood too. Put in a new cutout tool as well, extra sharp. We'll see how that performs. We have 2 drills as well. We have, what's our focus? That is the 13.5 millimeter, which I believe is like 0.535 or something like that, you know, close enough. And we have the 3/8 drill over there. So I guess time to go over kind of the numbers I decided to go with. 2200 rotations for basically everything. we will see how that goes. I guess I'll give you guys an update if I blow this thing up or not. All right. All right, it is 11:20. This went by a lot faster than I thought it would. It just went like butter. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, no problems. So thought this would be a little bit more interesting, but I guess I have finished pieces, or at least the raw finished pieces. In a measly hour, and I'd say an hour if you take out the time I was tooling the machine. So one thing I did notice afterwards is the rough outside, but obviously whenever you're working with wood, you have to usually sand it. But since I am stupid and not OSHA compliant, I simply left the piece in the machine after the finished facing. And I ran it at like 1500 RPM, and I took a piece of sandpaper and I held it in my hand, and as the piece was spinning, I just grabbed onto it and went shh, you know, like I was basically jerking it off. And I got a nice finish on it. Definitely not something anybody should do, but you know, whatever. So I have 3 pieces. One of these went a little bit too deep on the hole. I was just being stupid. Got a bit dirty right there because everything in a machine shop is basically covered with grease and coolant. But look at that. This is the basically rough draft version. Looks pretty good. So I made the second one, and I had the pressure a little bit too high, so you can kind of see there's like an indent right about here. 3 equally spaced indents. See where that kind of line is? So I lowered the pressure to 100 PSI, and I came out with a perfect piece. With good counterbore depth, that'll hide that kind of collar that'll be on the bronze insert, thread insert. So, I mean, I thought this would be a little bit more difficult, but fucking kind of easy. So all that's left for me to do right now is, if you look where the hole is, it's probably not gonna show up too well on the iPhone, but it's kind of rough around the edges. It has kind of like these little splinters, I guess you could say. And I'm just basically gonna take a really sharp knife and just kind of go around the edge, kind of ASMR-esque. Very nice. And clean that out, and then on, you know, Saturday or Sunday, when the inserts from Amazon come, I'll plop it in and I'll see how it looks and plays with, I guess. Now, the last thing I'm gonna do, or 2 last things I'm gonna do, is I'm going to weigh it on that scale, just to get a comparison of how it weighs to the plastic one, which was a 33 grams, if I'm remembering correctly, which was kind of like the target weight I had for my aluminum pieces, and see if it's lighter, heavier, and I'll kind of talk more about that, I guess, some video in the future where I do another general roundup of stuff that I was experimenting with. And the second thing that I will do, that I will continue this video with, is how I'm going to apply this thing. No idea. I'm guessing I'm just gonna take like a dowel pin or something, or I'll make a dowel pin and I'll just like shove it in this like a lollipop, and then I'll just open this thing and I'll just like dip it in, take it out, and just like leave it for 30 minutes, and then should be good. I think there's a lot of like toxic warnings on here, but I figure dries in an hour. So I'll just have to chill for an hour, and I'll show you guys like the final product. Yeah, so I'm just gonna calibrate really quick the scale, and I'll do a little kind of weight showcase, I guess you could say, and we'll move on from there. All right, so it's set at 0. I guess I'll take the first piece that had the counterbore that I went too deep with it. So this one's basically just trash, but whatever. Okay, that's very light. Now the two real ones, I guess you could say, 18.8 and 18 or 19 grams. So my kind of prediction for these guys is that it's gonna feel a little weird playing with it, just because maybe the weight will impact how the rubber grommet kind of returns to neutral. But we'll see. Maybe because the shape is the same as the plastic one that comes standard with all K levers. Maybe the play style will kind of be the same. Like the weight maybe will have no real effect on play style, but I guess we'll just have to wait a few more days to test that out. But I'm actually really proud of how these look, even raw. But I'm hoping the stain kind of adds more color and gives it a better texture, because it definitely has kind of like a raw wood texture that at any moment I feel like if I go like this, I'll get a splinter. But obviously I won't, because I sanded it, but it still feels like that. So let's move on. All right, I'm at my brother's packing table where he likes to hide like a gremlin during work hours. And I thought to myself, okay, what's a good way to have these, dry out? Well, I kind of need them to float, as to, I don't know, just seems right. And I thought, why not nails? Very gently on the whole part, basically, and have them, made this kind of makeshift holder, float like that, and have them dry over the course of about an hour. But I noticed, look at how shitty these nails are. It's like a flat bottom. So I took these bad boys to an angle grinder. Look at how pointy I made them. This is a weapon, all right? So the strategy. Pierce a tiny hole in there using this nail. Dip, take out, fucking let it drip, or like rotate it or something, and hang it. And then after an hour, take them off. Take a little tiny paintbrush and kind of brush the inside of this to make sure everything is covered and there's no, raw wood present. So let's see how this works. All right, let's do this live. First piece, hold on, let me find the poopy one. This one, the deep counterbore. Ah, shit. Is that what it's supposed to look like? No, I gotta like mix this or something, right? Shit. All right, I watched the YouTube video. I have primed the wood. Now I shall stain the wood. Okay. Now I have to like, gotta like wipe it off or something like that. I've never done this before. So I'm gonna get the coat to kind of what I want it to be. It looks a lot better than I thought it would, if I'm being honest with you. Now, the video did say that I could do multiple coats, but I figure one's enough. Because afterwards, it did say that if I want to have better like sealing properties, I could do an epoxy kind of spray on top of this coat, on top of the stain, I should say, to like further kind of, preserve its, color and properties and whatnot, which I think I will do at home because I actually do have an epoxy or like an epoxy resin basically, right? So I think I will do that. I have it in my garage. I got a sweet setup. Instead of letting my girlfriend park in the garage, I have my sweet car, my like 7 bicycles, and then my awesome personal project setup. Which is just like a cardboard box on the floor with a bunch of like spray paint around it. So I guess this is kind of a good idea of kind of the color. It's like wood, natural, it's like golden oak or something? Golden oak is the color. I assume when it dries it'll be a little bit lighter, obviously. But so far it looks pretty good. I'm just gonna kind of even out the coat a little bit more, and then hang it up to dry. And I'm gonna clean up, the warehouse, the machines. It should take me about an hour. So yeah, till then. All right, so to kind of wrap up this video, I have, I think, the second best knob out of the 3, right here. And it's okay. It's not my favorite. And there's a few things I think next time that I will change. There's like very clear issues. I mean, they're glaring issues, if I'm being honest, that need to be addressed the next time I do this. I might even do it tomorrow. I mean, now that I know that the machining process only takes like 5 minutes to make one of these. Like, seriously. First things first, quality of wood. The dowel rod that I bought of the oak has to be like whatever the equivalent of like vegan hamburgers is. It's like fucking vegan wood. It's terrible. It's really bad. I don't know why, but the like, you can see the natural kind of pattern here, the wood grain, I guess you could say, is just like, if I'm being honest, looks like it's 4 layers glued together. You can kind of see, kind of like how plywood is, layer by layer. Now, I'm not necessarily sure if this is the dowel's fault, or if oak is just like this, or if it's my fault like this, but I just really don't like that. I like that natural kind of swirl of usually handmade wooden products. And these lines just kind of ruin it for me. I guess you guys can kind of see that. It just looks like I cut slices of something and just like glued it together and made it, that. And I'm really not a fan. Second thing that's like super clear is I am not a fan of this color varnish. Golden oak, it's a little too dark. I wanted it to be lighter. The picture on the tub gave me the idea that it would be kind of like a golden, light golden brown, kind of like a dirty blonde kind of color. And it just kind of came out, really dark, kind of more rustic looking. And that's not really what I was going for. But it's just kind of nitpicking at this point. But the third and most important thing is I had no idea how to fucking how to, stain this. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know that there was a multitude of steps prior to applying the varnish that needed to be taken before you can get it. And for the last one that's currently drying, the best version, I took those steps because I made two of them. I stained two of them, and I was like, okay, what am I doing? Just like Google it, watch a YouTube video. Lo and behold, Home Depot's YouTube channel has a staining tutorial. It's a minute long. So I watched that really quick, and it turns out that you gotta, obviously the sanding, I already did that. But what you do is you take a lightly damp cloth and you wipe the whole surface, basically. And what that does is it raises the grain, which I guess the stain did here. You guys can kind of see how spiky it is right there. It raises it. And then you sand it again to get rid of that. And you should repeat that step like 2 to 3 times. So that the wood kind of is where it should be, naturally, after it's saturated with whatever liquid or stain or whatever, and it doesn't have this kind of spiky texture. So I did that for the last one, and I went to go check on it, and it looks a lot better. It's completely smooth. But again, I think the biggest issue is just kind of the quality of wood. I'll have to do some research and see if there's like a more expensive, I think this oak dowel rod, 3 feet, 1 1/4 diameter, cost me like $5. So obviously the quality of wood there is probably not going to be very good. So I'll see if I can find something a little bit more expensive, and I'll probably make, kind of an updated version of this. After learning from obviously all of the mistakes I made today. I will say, regardless of all the mistakes that were made, hey, it worked. I can do it. And it has pretty big potential to be cool. I want to walk back one thing I said where I weighed it and I said it was 18 grams. Depending on the size of the threaded insert I put into this, the bronze one with the internal M6X1 thread, it could increase the weight by, I don't know, maybe 2 grams or something, which is something considering this is, only 18, which is, very light. So I'll kind of, in my own time, once I kind of get that over here, I will, test that weight, and I'll just see what it is. I probably won't do an update on that, but and another thing is that 100% for these ones, at least, maybe the high quality wood will be a little bit different. Maybe if I apply the stain a little bit differently, it could feel a little bit better. But right now, I'm not a big fan of the texture of this. So when I get home, I think I will do the plastic spray, basically the enamel spray. Enamel? I don't even remember what I'm saying. But I'll coat this. I mean, it is 12:45 in the morning. So, I'll coat this with that kind of plastic layer to you know, preserve this a little bit better. And I did do that same method on some of the aluminum pieces that I made to prevent, you know, the gentle oxidization that does happen to aluminum over a very extended period of time. And the texture of the aluminum went from that kind of cold metallic feel to like this hybrid premium feel of metal with like a very high quality, like rubbery plastic. I don't really know how to explain it, but when I did it and I played a few games using the ones that were coated and uncoated, I noticed that I actually preferred the one that was coated with that kind of plastic resin. It felt very good. And so I'm kind of curious how the wood will react to that. Because if I can get this weight, and if I do the enamel on it, and the weight will be like, you know, 20 something, then, you know, hey, if it has that same kind of feeling where it's like kind of wood-like, kind of, you know, plastic-like, this could be actually pretty interesting. But definitely I will say on a closing note, on this kind of final look at it, number one, better quality wood, maybe a different kind of wood. This is some kind of oak. I don't know if there's like a subgenre. I don't know, fucking mahogany or something. Maybe I'll do that next time. Something more high quality, spend a little bit more money on it. I'm gonna get a better stain, something that fits my thing. You know, I'll actually Google what they look like post, you know, staining. Obviously don't want it to be this dark. And now that I know how to actually apply stain, I will, you know, use what I've learned for the next few kind of prototypes. And yeah, thanks to that one guy that commented on all the videos to try this out. This was actually really fun to do. And I'm excited to see what I can do with it in the future, because hey, it's cool to have the ability to make it out of more than one material. Some people might want it in the aluminum metallic form. Some people might want it in the wooden form. Some people might want it in the plastic form. But you know, the tests go on. But I think this is kind of a roaring success. And we'll see where it goes from here. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thanks for making it this far. And till next time, maybe I'll make it out of fucking mahogany or something. All right, thanks guys.